Good afternoon. It is August 28th, 2025. And today we had, uh, it kind of looks like a range, but it broke higher. And if you look at the daily chart, we went higher and actually is a pretty big body relative to the size of this tail. So we're now in a 3-day bull micro channel. That's something to note. And yeah, it looks like we're going to close out this week. Um, Going higher. We could have a sell-off tomorrow to, uh, you know, 64.93. That's a 23-point move. That could very easily happen. This is the monthly chart. Uh, I I believe that the bulls are trying to test the highs of this channel. So um, that's that. Let's take a look back at the 1700 or 1300 tick chart. So in the overnight, we just retraced that move from yesterday's close. I believe this was from NVIDIA's earnings, I'm guessing. We just retraced, and 5 o'clock comes in right here after making this, I guess, this one leg up at the top of this one leg up. So let's zoom in. So you get like this failure right here. To me, that looks like a double bottom, so more like a first entry. I, I'm not I'm not really opposed to somebody taking that if you think we're gonna retest this high. That's a strong bull bar. It just touched the EMA, but you could argue that we made this move down below the EMA, and you could say that that's one leg, and you could be expecting a second leg. So uh, I could see the argument for both sides. Uh, one, two, three legs up. You get this pullback. Doesn't do a whole lot, and it doesn't look very strong. So I'd probably wait. However, I am noticing here a little bit of a gap, a body gap. So if you like that, we are holding above the EMA. Maybe you do take this. You'd have to take this bar, but then that's an inside bar, and you have this bar, an inside bar, and another inside bar. So, you know, there's I don't think it's the greatest, but I think if you are looking for just a scalp, what's the highs right here? 503. There's room. There's plenty of room. That's 2 points almost. So I think you could argue for that one. And we come back down and get a break of this channel. Boom, move to a new high, makes a double top. And then we come down here. So I don't think you want to short this. Not strong enough of a bear bar, and uh, but this does look like the bulls are getting tired. But anyway, we get this spike and channel down, and let's see, is there anything in here? I'm not. I was gonna say I'm not opposed to this one, but I don't know. It's kind of going sideways, and it'd be hard to say that this is a channel already because this looks like a one leg and this looks like a second leg. But this is a pretty strong move, so maybe you're expecting the channel after. I'm not so sure about this one. Not crazy about it. However, it does look like a two-legged pullback. So I think you can consider this one. There's one back here I didn't mark. Maybe you consider getting long right here for a scalp. I think if you're going to go long or short here, I think you would. I would think you would want to go for like a new low below this one, maybe here to below here. I don't know. It doesn't look like a good setup for a scalp, so I don't think That's what you're looking for. We get a break, move to a new low. This is actually like a repeat. You can see a two-legged pullback and like a double test. So here, let me mark that. So maybe you consider this. But there's some dojis in here. I don't think it's the greatest idea. But make a new low and then we bounce and we start to go higher in this red channel that I believe was holding prices, influencing prices for the rest of the day. So this is kind of just flip-flopping. I'm not expecting much out of this yet. Looks like prices are just kind of trying to figure out what they're doing. But then, we start making higher lows, and you notice that. Notice here, this body didn't close uh, below this bull breakout bar. So some people might be looking at that like they can hold their position, their longs. I don't think you want to go long here unless you're entering on a limit order. That's definitely okay to enter on a limit order here, um, especially if you see that this close didn't go lower than the open of this bull bar. Then we get a higher low here and a higher low here, and that's off the EMA. So I mean, I think you could consider this. Problem is there's just so much sideways stuff over here. So you got to breakout pull back here. Then you got to breakout pull back here. Let me draw this channel because, if maybe you look at this as a channel, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably look at, I don't know. That's a tough call. Maybe it is a channel. So breakout pullback, boom, pullback. I mean, if you're going for a new high, I think that kind of makes sense here, but I think this is the better one. And this is a second entry long. So, and room to the highs. This looks like a channel at this point, at least off the highs. If you drag it down to the lows, boom, you get confirmation. I think that's a perfect setup. And that's a double test of this breakout area. So I actually really like this one. And then you get another second entry. It's off the trend line. Not crazy about how this bar closes, but then you get some more information on the bar after, and you can see a lot of people liked it there. Boom, you get an overshoot, leads to a break. That's a tight, wow, that's probably a 10 bar bear micro channel that you get after that. Could you take that? You could take this. You could definitely take this, but you cannot go for a scalp here because you're going against the trend. So you have to go for a big move, and that's what you get. We get so we get this bear move, and you get a 50% correction, and then it just goes kind of sideways. We're above the EMA now. We get a bounce, and you actually get a higher low. I would consider this. I would definitely consider this because look at how weak these bears look. You get one big bear body, kind of big bear body, and then you get a doji. We bounce. You get a higher low, big bull body. I think that's worth considering. And we test the top of the channel, pull back, test it again, get a pullback, maybe 66% of this channel, and then we start making higher lows. And this is a small pullback bull trend. So this is a very strong move, even though it doesn't look like it. Let's take a look at these gaps, these body gaps. You get a gap right there. You get a gap right there. You get a gap, let's say right there. So these are all signs of a strong bull trend. We're above the EMA. I'm going to delete these. And So you can jump in if you see all those gaps. You know, if you see them failing to close the gaps, maybe you jump in there. Uh, can you go long above this bar? I mean, if you see this red channel, I don't think it's a good idea. And this is the first gap that's closing and it's above the channel. So I don't think you want to go long above that bar, but I understand why someone might. And I don't know, maybe you just enter long on a limit order when you get a bear close, expecting that to fail. Then you get a second entry long off the EMA. You're going into resistance, so I'm not crazy about it, but it is the first uh, time we broke this bull channel, so I think it's reasonable to think we're going higher. And that's pretty much it. So another day in the books. We have the month and the week closing out tomorrow. So here's the weekly chart and here's the monthly chart. I don't anticipate tomorrow being a good day, or I mean a big day, yeah, because we'd have to rally about 140 points. I think tomorrow's going to be a quiet day, but I could be wrong. So just keep your eye on that, and I'll be back tomorrow.